Chapter 140. He continued in the discourse and said, "The second order is called Eriuth, the Ethiopian, a female ruler who is entirely black, under whom stand 14 other archdemons, which rule over a multitude of other demons. And it is those demons which stand under Eriuth, the Ethiopian, that enter into strife seekers until they stir up wars and murders arise, and they harden their heart and seduce it to wrath in order that murders may arise. And the souls which this authority will carry off in ravishment pass 113 years in her regions, while she tormenteth them through her dark smoke and her wicked fire, so that they come nigh unto destruction. And thereafter, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabaoth, the good, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the fourth aeon of the sphere, that is the crab, and Bubastis, who is called in the world Aphrodite, cometh into the 10th aeon of the sphere, which is called the goat. At that time, the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and you looketh forth to the right. The whole world becometh alarmed, and is agitated together with all the aeons of the sphere. And he looked on the dwellings of Eriuth the Ethiopian, so that her regions are dissolved and ruined, and all the souls which are in her chastisements are carried off and cast back into the sphere anew, because they are ruined through her dark smoke and her wicked fire." He continued further in his discourse and said, "The third order is called triple-faced Hecate, and there are under her authority 27 archdemons, and it is they which enter into men and seduce them to perjuries and lies, and to covet that which doth not belong to them. The souls then which Hecate beareth hence in ravishment, she handeth over to her demons which stand under her, in order that they may torment them through her dark smoke and her wicked fire, they being exceedingly afflicted through the demons. And they spend 105 and 6 months being chastised in her wicked chastisements, and they begin to be dissolved and destroyed. And thereafter, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabaoth, the good, he of the midst, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the 8th aeon of the sphere, which is called the Scorpion. And when Bubastis, whom they call Aphrodite, cometh, and she cometh to the 2nd aeon of the sphere, which is called the Bull, then the veils which are between those of the right and those of the left draw themselves aside, and Zorokothora Melchizedek looketh out of the height, and the world and the mountains are agitated, and the aeons become alarmed. And he looketh on all the regions of Hecate, so that her regions are dissolved and destroyed, and all the souls which are in her chastisements are carried off and cast back anew into the sphere, because they are dissolved in the fire of her chastisements." He continued and said, "The fourth order is called Phadron Typhon, who is a mighty ruler, under whose authority are 32 demons, and it is they which enter into men and seduce them to lusting, fornicating, adultery, and to the continual practice of intercourse. The souls then which this ruler will carry off in ravishment pass 128 years in his regions, while his demons torment them through his dark smoke and his wicked fire, so that they begin to be ruined and destroyed. It cometh to pass then, when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabaoth, the good, he of the midst, who is called Zeus, cometh, and when he cometh to the 9th aeon of the sphere, which is called the Archer, and when Bubastis, who is called in the world Aphrodite, cometh, and she cometh to the 3rd aeon of the sphere, which is called the Twins, then the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and there looketh forth Zarazaz, whom the rulers call with the name of a mighty ruler of their regions, Maskeli. And he looketh on the dwellings of Phadron Typhon, so that his regions are dissolved and destroyed, and all the souls which are in his chastisements are carried and cast back anew into the sphere, because they are reduced through his dark smoke and his wicked fire." Again, he continued in the discourse and said unto the disciples, "The fifth order, whose ruler is called Yakthanabas, is a mighty ruler under whom standeth a multitude of other demons. It is they which enter into men and bring it about that they have respect of persons, treating the just with injustice and favor the cause of sinners, taking gifts for a just judgment and perverting it, forgetting the poor and needy. They, the demons, increasing the forgetfulness in their souls, and the care for that which bringeth no benefit, in order that they may not think of their life, so that, when they come out of the body, they are carried in ravishment. The souls then which this ruler will carry off in ravishment are in his chastisements 150 years and 8 months, and he destroyeth them through his dark smoke and his wicked fire, while they are exceedingly afflicted through the flames of his fire. And when the sphere turneth itself, and the little Sabaoth, the good, who is called in the world Zeus, cometh, and he cometh to the 11th aeon of the sphere which is called the Water-man, and when Bubastis cometh to the 5th aeon of the sphere which is called the Lion, then the veils which are between those of the left and those of the right draw themselves aside, and there looketh out of the height of the great Aiao, the good, he of the midst, on the regions of Yakthanabis, so that his regions are dissolved and destroyed. And all the souls which are in his chastisements are carried off and cast back anew into the sphere, because they are ruined in his chastisements. These then are the doings of the ways of the midst, concerning which ye have questioned me.